Hi, it's George Nordhaus, and welcome to Monday Morning. Since I've been in the business, which is many, many years, I have worked very closely with the Insurance Information Institute. And for a long time, I just realized, and particularly lately in the last year or two, realized that a lot of people don't really understand all the things the Insurance Information Institute does because it's huge. And I say huge, you're going to understand in just a minute. So I contacted the III and Dr. Robert Hartwig, who is the president of the organization and has been. He said, sure, let's tell the story. We really need to tell the story. So let me kind of move forward here. Let me show you Dr. Hartwig's picture here, if I may. There we go. And he you're a relatively young guy. How about that, hey, Robert? I'm not going to ask you to say your age. I thought that would be okay. But let me tell you about this guy. I mean, he is I've seen him in various places over the years, but let me give you a little background of him. Let me show you he's been on here now since 98. What is 17 years, something like that? And
Yeah,
he's an
17 years.
economist. He told me that economists have been the one Bob, why economist on this thing? I mean, I think that's interesting. You told me a minute ago, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, by training, I'm an economist, and although mostly in the area of statistics, again, even before that, and it's just been something that I've been able to. I've always been attracted to areas related to risk and the evaluation and quantification of risk. It turns out that was a something I worked on a lot when I was a graduate student. It was a natural fit for me to wind up in the insurance industry not long after I graduated, and I've never looked back.
That's amazing because you don't see many economists in the insurance industry. You probably ought
You
to.
do
Maybe
not.
there's more, Bob, than we know about, around in places. Well, you have also, you can see that people can read on that, but what you can't see in front of you that Dr. Hartwig is a member of many of the associations in the country. He's been on the Florida's task force for long-term homeowners insurance solution. Lord knows they need that. Yeah, let's just hold off a minute on that.
Okay.
Uh, he's been on the board of directors of the American Risk and Insurance Association, board of directors of the Insurance Industry Charitable Foundation, Griffiths Foundation. Bob got his PhD and Master of Science at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and he graduated from the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. And he's a CPCU, which is a nice thing. He's authored so many papers, I can't believe it, on all kinds of stuff. I don't even want to go through that list. It's too much time to take. He's won awards of all kinds, like the National Association of Mutual Insurance Companies Chairman's Award, Research Award from the Chamber of Commerce for legal reform in the area of torts and tort reform. He speaks a lot. I've seen him. How many times a year do you speak? You have any idea?
Oh, it's probably about 80 or 90 times a year.
Oh gosh,
Quite a
that's
bit.
that is huge. I can't believe
Yeah.
it. And
And
that's a
you had a couple hundred, interviews in the press, whether it's
oh
TV, radio, or
man.
the papers, now websites, everything like that.
Yeah, yeah, I know the Wall Street Journal and New York Times. I've seen that. You're really the spokesman. You're the spokesman for the insurance industry of the world. I mean, at least, don't you think? I guess
Uh,
that's pretty
and
heavy.
that's how we try to position ourselves
Yeah,
here.
yeah, I think you should.
Most of the industry is a member of the association, and our members write every type of coverage under the sun, plus reinsurers, and so there are a lot of different things we need to do to address and talk about here because there's never any shortage of issues in this industry.
All right, well, let's start. That's a perfect start. What's the mission of the III?
Well, the mission of the organization is really to help explain insurance, what it is and what it does. And we do that to with a wide variety of stakeholders, and I'll show you that in a minute. But it's everything from obviously consumers of insurance, whether that's your average personal lines consumer or large sophisticated commercial lines consumers of insurance from some of
Uh-huh.
the largest corporations in the world. So from people who know virtually nothing about insurance to people who are sophisticated risk managers.
Hmm.
And so that's a mission that we take very seriously. It's a global mission. And it's one that's very, very broad, and it's one that engages us 24/7, 365 in every type of outlet and media you can imagine. Again, whether it's traditional media, whether it's congressional hearings, whether it's social media nowadays. I mean, you name it.
You have. Let me ask a question here. Who? Where's the money come from? Who is the support? Yeah.
Yeah. The III is an industry-funded trade association. So again, our members, and nobody need be a member of the III, but that being said, the overwhelming majority of the industry is in terms of premiums written. So our members are insurers and reinsurers, large and small, and who operate on either from anything from a very tiny regional footprint to companies that are super regional, national, and international, and truly global in nature, literally from A to Z. And they span, again, the full gamut of personal lines, commercial lines, and reinsurance.
Is there a fixed fee, or do they send as much as they feel like it, or?
No, and the insurers, there are basically formulas, but effectively it's based on the size.
Size,
Of the company.
okay, all right,
so
that's
a
fine.
larger company would pay more.
Got it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, in order to help us execute our mission, we produce a wide range of products and services, publications, research, disseminate all sorts of information, a steady stream of it, as well as customized research for our member companies. This day and age, communication isn't what it used to be. In the old days of the III, that meant pretty much speaking in the newspaper, and it meant creating paper brochures and things like this. Obviously today, it means much more than that. There are far more media outlets than the traditional ones that have existed through most of the history of III. And we saturate all of those new media and social media type of outlets out there. And, we have many ways for people to be in touch with us, for our members to be in touch with us. We're very much a hands-on organization. We like the face-to-face interaction with our members and with the public, or with public policy makers around the country.
Got it. All right, let's go back to your mission then. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so the mission, as I mentioned, again, is to explain, very basically what insurance is and what it does. Now, you can go a long, long way with that definition. As you already said, George, maybe a lot of people don't really completely understand insurance as well as they should, or as well as they need to. And the downsides of that are pretty enormous. If you're a homeowner or you're a business owner, if you aren't properly insured, you're going to have a lot of problems when something happens, whether it's a natural disaster or you wind up being sued or you have an injured worker, you name it. And so what we try to do is be the go-to resource for insurance information, educating everyone everywhere all the time. We create a lot of partners that help us to enable to do this out there. We very much serve as the industry's public voice, as you've already suggested, on critical issues in the industry, but a lot of smaller issues that might only matter to relatively small numbers of customers as well. But within the industry itself, we serve as an information resource, and that means conducting research and analysis, helping our many member companies with their research needs, in addition to their media needs, and help them communicate more effectively with their customers and their constituencies. We're viewed as a very factual and credible organization, so much so that we're routinely called upon by many government agencies to provide information, to testify in front of legislative bodies to provide our information and our analysis, and we do that very gladly. We're very happy to represent the industry, and we have a reputation that no matter what your political persuasion is, and no matter whether you disagree with us or not, or are representative of the industry, no one impugns our data, and we take that as the highest form of compliment.
I don't blame you. Let me ask a question. Let me interrupt you just a minute. Where do you find staff that knows this stuff? I mean, how do you hire people? Where do you find them?
Well, a lot of people here they've been here quite a while.
Right, I understand that.
We have employees who've been here, numerous employees. Well, first of all, the III is only 21 full-time people, a couple of part-time people. We're a lot smaller than people believe that we are.
Yeah.
And, but we must have thousands of years of expertise because
I got you.
many of the people have been here 20, 25, 30, even at least in one case, about 45 years.
Wow.
So some people have been here a long time, but we've also, hired some new people, and some we may have had work for us a little while in a kind of a freelance capacity. But we find people who are truly interested in insurance and who have talents that they can bring to the industry. Quite frankly, many of the people we bring in now come from outside the industry, from someplace like the media world. Although that said, we recently hired an actuary as well. So we're blending a variety of resources that help us communicate messages with technical expertise and long-term experience that help us get our message out.
Got it. All right. What's the? Okay. Your move.
Yeah. So basically, you can see on the slide, you can see that our basically this shows our various stakeholders and who we deal with and interact with and are responsible to on a day-to-day basis. And it's an enormous charge. It's a very, very public organization. The media and consumers and insurers and producers and legislators and regulators, investors, academia, and there are more as well. And we have all kinds of programs and initiatives underway for each and every one of these constituencies. Mm-hmm. And speaking of constituencies, as I mentioned, what we do is viewed highly, highly credibly. And you could see there are dozens and dozens of key government agencies that we work with all the time, various congressional committees, and this has become even more important in this post-Dodd-Frank era, where we have new entities like the Federal Insurance Office, for example, or you have the Federal Reserve taking a more detailed look at the insurance industry, whereas prior to the financial crisis, never did those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So, to give you a sense of some of the things that we produce, we produce each year a series of fact books. In fact, we have a 2015 edition now. We've been producing this continuously since the 1960s. We have an international fact book also, so everything you need to know about in insurance and insurance markets in both of these. We produce a publication called Impact. You can get the historical PDFs of this online, but it documents the philanthropic deeds and activities of the insurance industry. So we probably feature about 5 or 6 of our member companies in each issue, and we just put out our June 2015 issue featuring about, again, 5 or 6 of our member companies and the great things they're doing.
Let me interrupt you right before you go there. Is that information available to agents? Could they ask you for the copy of the fact book or whatever?
Absolutely. Yes, they can. Now you can go on our website and you can order copies right there.
Okay, thank you.
If you go to III.org,
thank you.
You'll find it'll tell you how to order copies right there.
All right.
And such things as this impact publication, and basically almost anything I'm going to talk about you can get for free from our website, or we've also gotten to the area of software, digital publications of these things. So our fact books are available in PDF forms, and Kindle readers, and these kinds of things as well. So no matter how you want to look at it and how you want to read it and access it, you'll be able to do that.
Good. I'm a Kindle guy. I'm going to go get it as soon as we quit recording here.
There you go.
Okay.
And we produce kind of a primer, if you will, for insurance called the Insurance Handbook. We've been doing that for a number of years. We produced it initially because, again, there were many people in the state, regulators in the states and legislators in the states, and people in Congress who are now starting to think about insurance more than they had in the past. And this was to help educate them on this. But we found this particular book is actually used quite frequently throughout the industry to help train new insurance company employees. Many companies use it in their training programs.
Perfect.
So that wasn't how we intended it to be, but it turns out that that's how it winds up getting used.
Terrific.
And so we also produce other reports. Another one's called Firm Foundation. Basically, what that does is it talks about the economic impact of the insurance industry on national and state economies. So you can download the most recent one of those. I think we have a 2014 or 15 edition that's available on our website. So we're more than just about paying claims. I mean, we're big employers, we're big taxpayers, we are philanthropists, and you name it, in every state in which we operate. And again, as I mentioned, we document our philanthropic activities through this impact publication.
Good.
But in terms of the more the day-to-day issues related to insurance, we have dozens and dozens of these topics that we track and that we have short papers on and analyses on that are being updated continuously all the time. And here you can kind of see a list of these things. It literally runs from about A to Z. And the importance of these will change over time depending on what's going on. This is a relatively quiet, say, year for hurricanes, but in other years, there'll be a lot of interest in downloading information with respect to that. And each and every year we have a pretty active research agenda. This was just a few papers that we had produced from last year. Last year, of course, the TRIA hadn't been renewed yet, so we were focusing on that, and the cyber threat is out there. Oftentimes some discussion of major catastrophic events. We might do papers on that. We got a new paper on cyber risk coming out very soon. We had one just come out a few months ago on alternative capital in reinsurance markets. We're going to have one on the increasing role of technology in the P&C insurance industry. Think of everything from autonomous vehicles to big data, those kinds of things. And we produce newsletters for our members that discuss what the III is up to there. You see a picture there, for example, of me presenting a check on behalf of the industry to people of the town of Moore, Oklahoma, which, as you might remember, had a tornado that virtually destroyed it early last year. So, yeah, so we were out there shortly afterwards and making sure that the industry's media needs were met and that interfacing with the state's insurance commissioner was going smoothly. And then we came back a few months later and then presented this check to people. In this particular case, the check was going to go to help rebuild one of the schools in town. So,
got it.
We do things.
Yeah, that's terrific. Wait, but before you, traditional media outreach you got, but let me just mention one thing. Maybe you mentioned later, but you've got some videos that are just really, really great on online. There, we had Agencies Online have used them and continue to use them for our agents. To use on their website. We put them on the website, and boy, they're really good. We like them.
Well, thank you, George, and we encourage people to do that. We have a video series on a wide variety of topics. We have a new animated series that is designed to sort of be engaging with the younger generation, say millennials who are looking at their first purchases of things like auto insurance and home insurance. And even we have a life insurance video coming online soon as well, and we'll be continuing with that. We have plans to create a video that's going to be about It'll be useful in terms of college recruiting, getting young people into this industry, since we're kind of facing kind of a brain drain due to retirements in this business in the years to come. And so many people don't really think about a career in insurance, and it's going to be a video that should be appealing to
Good. I like
20-somethings.
Like that.
But getting back to sort of the original idea about III media outreach, we put out dozens and dozens of media advisories every year, some on a calendar based on certain things we know are going to happen every year, like the beginning of hurricane season. But of course, we get into the full court press mode when some big disaster happens or something, and we make sure that media that we're available to media, 24/7, 365 in English and in Spanish, by the way.
Wow.
Because there are many disasters
Sure.
that have an impact on Spanish-speaking populations also, particularly when you think about parts of places like Texas and California that are particularly disaster prone. So we have a person in Florida who's fluent in Spanish.
Okay.
Now I mentioned new media is where it's at today. We've been on the web now for nearly 20 years, but the web isn't what it used to be. It's very different now, and people want to access information in a variety of different ways, not just over the web. But our website is each and every year shows very, very dramatic growth in traffic. You'd be amazed at how many people log on or visit our site every month, unique visitors, and how many pages they view and the information they download about insurance, even when not much is going on out there. So they're drawn to that website, and because when they Google something related to insurance information, they're almost invariably going to be sent to our website. And increasingly that'll happen through such things as a Facebook page, kind of like you see here as well. People will find us on Facebook, and then they'll link back to the III's website. We're very active on social media like Twitter as well, and so we have this. I personally have about 6,300 Twitter followers. Actually, the number for the III overall, that's an old number you see on the screen here. It's several times that nowadays.
Wow.
Who are following us on Twitter, and it's very effective. Something might happen at some odd hour on the weekend. I can tweet as to my availability, and almost immediately I'll get media calling me because they all follow us on Twitter.
Got it.
And there are all kinds of social media out there nowadays, such things as Pinterest, for example. We have a couple of blogs and where we discuss critical issues of the day. We have kind of a national blog called Terms and Conditions, and a Florida blog, and we're going to be developing a California blog very soon with our new person that we brought on out there. As I mentioned, we are very engaged in major catastrophic issues that happen around the country. It's been a little bit of a quiet year in 2015 outside the floods in Texas, but when things like that happen, including floods in Texas, we usually send someone on scene who interacts with local media, interacts with local regulators, local state insurance departments, and so it's just one example here. After the more tornado events last year, what we find in many states is that these state insurance departments have very, very little information that they can actually put up and be of use to the insurance buying public, and they're also very, very slow to react. So whether it was Oklahoma a while back or the Napa earthquake in California last year, we are able to basically have any other website, through just the addition of a little bit of code to their website, basically adopt a lot of our information that would be helpful to them.
Well, if I were a reporter or something, I'd be on you all the time. Well, you said that a minute ago.
Well,
really.
they are.
Yeah.
They are, and not just reporters, but tens and tens of thousands each month.
Oh my God.
And these numbers are growing by by double digits.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's good news. I mean,
Yeah.
again, to think about, talking about insurance issues. But we also produce software that helps people be prepared for disasters. They can create a disaster plan or a home inventory or understand coverage issues, and we have apps for all of these things. You
Oh
can
my
get it
gosh.
for your smartphone, and you can walk around your house, take pictures or video of your possessions. You can annotate that, say how much it cost, where you bought it, so on. It's all stored remotely, safely, and securely on the cloud. And so if the unthinkable happens, meaning that say your home is destroyed from a disaster of some sort, you'll at least have a catalog of all of this, and that'll help expedite the claim process. That's
Got
good
it.
news. And it's just a little detail about a very popular home inventory software, of which we just had a new version of this is coming out right now.
We told all of our agencies online agencies about this, and we do every year or two, so that they can go ahead and use it, because it's the easiest and fastest and freest one that we know about.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, thanks, George. Yeah, and
yeah,
that's right. It is free. That's an important part about
right.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
And so so it's very accessible. The new version is even more has very cool improvements to it. So, for instance, if you might be entering something like your jewelry collection, and the app will know that, and it'll say, well, you should be aware that many policies have limits on the dollar value of something like jewelry or collectibles, and it'll say you should
Right.
consider a floater. In other words, some kind of extra coverage to make sure that you're completely protected in case this property is damaged, destroyed, or stolen in some cases.
Got it.
Other sorts of things that we do is, we have a triple I toolkit that helps you, again, understand your coverage and make plans and so forth. We're developing a mobile version of our website right now, where we've identified the parts of the website that are most commonly used by people, and so not surprising, it's things like questions about auto insurance and homeowners insurance and life insurance, things that basically everybody buys.
Uh-huh.
So that part of the website will be featured and focused on in our mobile website. You mentioned the videos, lots of videos. This is our animated video series, mostly on coverage issues related to auto insurance, homeowners insurance, small businesses, and now life insurance is the most recent one that's just rolling out right now. And we have what we call our Check 20 campaign. And what this does is, this is an email campaign that allows us to engage directly with consumers. People sign up for this, and basically it's in the form of a weekly newsletter on important insurance issues. And we rolled that out last year. It's been very successful, and it gives us another means for connecting directly with the public on key insurance issues.
Well, now agents can get this also. Could they get on the list?
Oh, absolutely. You just go on our website, send us an email, and we'll get you on the list, and it's all free.
How about that? I'm going to do that too. Bob, this has been way beyond what I really understood about the Triple I. Many years I've been working with it, I had no idea the depth of it. You must have catalog. I mean, library of like the big libraries of stuff, don't you? After all these
Well,
years.
information's our middle name, George. So yeah, we do. A lot of it's digital nowadays, of course. So our actual physical library is a lot smaller than it once used to be. But
Yeah.
we have good people here. We're very responsive to the industry's needs and to the needs of consumers. And on any given day, I mean, today, George, I'm quoted in a nice big Wall Street Journal article.
Oh
And
man.
it's about how to properly insure your home if you have a high-value home. And
Terrific.
in that same piece, you get just not only good advice coming from us, you're getting from experts from a bunch of our member companies as well, who are also featured in the piece. And so, and on any given day, there'll be many different media outlets that are covering triple I analysis or tips and you name it, or can be anything from, again, the basic tips about making sure you're appropriately covered in auto and home insurance to, one of our major growth areas this past year was issues related to aviation insurance because of the large number of crashes in the last year. Most people don't know how that market works, and the media was interested to hear how that market works. And so we fill all the voids.
Well, I really think you do, and I think you've done a wonderful presentation here because you've enlightened me, and if I'm enlightened on it, as long as I've been dealing with it, a lot of other people, I'm quite sure, will want to, the agents, let me encourage the agents who are listening to this to pass it on to everybody in your agency.
Well, please do, and follow us on Twitter. Actually, agents and agencies are among our largest constituents who follow us on social media. That way you can find out when new reports or information that might be useful to you and your business or useful to relay to your customers is coming out.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, Bob, for this time and the efforts that you spent, and to your people who've been terrifically cooperative with me. And I am glad we're getting this triple I information out to the world, I hope. And we know it's going to go out to 35,000 today or something, and that's not a bad start. So we'll continue. Not that you need it, but I think we need it. I think we as agents need it worse than anybody. So thanks again.
We never pass up an opportunity, and we love working with the agent community. And so we wish you all the best of luck, George.
Can't beat that. And so for the rest of you, go back to your email, and you'll find the quiz flash as usual. You'll find the archives on there for all of our Monday mornings. By the end of this year, by the end of 2015, we're going to have 130 plus on their webinars, but this will always be a big one. So again, thank you all, and I'll see everybody next Monday morning.